Welcome one, welcome all to Heavy Metal Truckers, where we take a listen to metal and we give thoughts on it. And in this one, we are giving our thoughts on the latest album from... Which one did you have first? Oh, okay, cool. Taake, as I just looked up how to fucking pronounce it because it's Norwegian. This is... Oh, I didn't look up this part, though, so forgive me for improper pronunciation on this part. On Skog of Nidstang. I probably completely butchered that.
We'll go with that.
Let me know in the comments.
Run with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what was that noise? Oh, I don't know. So when did I hear about Taake, or however the poop you say it? When you said you wanted to do this album about a month ago.
I dig it.
Now, based on the name of the group and the fact that you suggested it, I almost immediately knew it was going to be some sort of black metal.
Let's just make assumptions here.
Hey, man, it's pretty easy to assume with you.
I don't want.
Well, it's not so much they did, but the band name just it, and the fact they're from Norway. Just you put the two together, it's just like it's gotta be.
Yeah.
So, being that I know other than our preconceived notions of what most black metal sounds like, I went into this with an open mind. And there are things that I liked. There are things that I'm kind of indifferent to, and then there are things I did not like. So first, we'll start with what I like.
You are starting to
First thing that I
glitch
like
out.
is that me or him.
You. Okay.
Good,
Now,
'cause I thought it was
Fine.
me.
okay, now you're doing better.
Am I here now?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay. So anywho, what was the last thing you heard I said? How's that?
Well, I heard glitches of, but I kept an open mind. There are things I enjoyed. There are things I didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
For this is my
Yeah,
left,
okay.
and this
See,
is my
yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's basically what I said. So, starting with the things that I enjoyed. Now, this thing was only 4 songs long, but despite that, one thing that I liked was the fact that, unlike a lot of black metal, each song actually felt a little bit different from each other. Enough so to where I could differentiate between the 4, which I like that. Now, I can't pronounce any of these songs, so I'm going to refer to them as song 1, 2, 3, and 4.
That works.
Yes.
I'll be the one everyone hates, so I'll try.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
The third one may be Engler. That's probably completely wrong.
Close enough.
Or Ettertukmintud. I don't know. Anyway, so that was one thing that I liked, was that each song sounded a little bit different from each other, which you don't always get with black metal. Another thing that I liked was that the guitars at times, while nowhere near remotely close to melodic, they did have a little bit of almost a melody at times. It wasn't just, which I did enjoy that. There were a couple songs, I think 2 of them, that had almost like spoken word bits a little bit in them, which I enjoyed that as well. Now, things that I was indifferent to was overall the vocals, because I didn't like them, didn't hate them. They were pretty much you would expect typical black metal vocals, for me anyway. But there was one song, and I can't remember which one it was, unfortunately. And I could be wrong, but I swear to God it sounded like it. There was a bit of the song where it sounded like they actually snuck in some almost clean vocals underneath the harsh vocals.
I'll be able to go in more.
You might know what I'm talking about. Okay, so... but I only remembered in one song. I remember thinking, well, that's interesting. Now, the things I didn't like, for me personally, and I'm sure people out there would disagree with me, maybe one of the two you will, but for a lot of black metal, this didn't have near as much atmosphere as a lot of the other stuff, for me. Now, the first song, when it started, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, we got good atmosphere, start great, and then it kind of disappeared. So that I wasn't a huge fan of. The other thing I didn't really like was in the second song. Now this could have been my headset, I don't know, but there were multiple times within that second song that it legit, like full on, was a wall of noise. Like I couldn't tell you what the drums were, what the guitars were, what the bass was. Like it literally just sounded like just a the whole time. That's all I heard. Now the other three songs weren't like that. It was literally just that one. So I didn't care for that at all. But like I said, I don't know how much of that was my headset or how much of that was actually the music. Now, so as a whole, what I liked and what I didn't like kind of like even themselves out in a way. Like the things I liked as much as the stuff that I disliked, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like this is a group I feel like if it had more of an atmosphere to it, and second song hadn't felt like it's a couple times it's so much like a wall of noise, this actually could have been extremely good because there was a lot of really things that I did like the fact that the songs were a little bit different from each other. You know, the hints of melodies in the guitar, even though they're by no means were they melodic, but if you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about. You know, like the spoken word. I even liked like I said, what almost sounded like cleans underneath the harshes on that one song. I don't remember which one it is anymore, but
I think it was.
I don't know. They did enough that it could have been. I knew it was later. It was either the third or fourth one, but I don't remember. I didn't know which one. So because of that, it helps them stand out a little bit and whatnot. Just the fact that it didn't have the strong atmosphere, and then like I said, the wall of noise issue I had in the second song, it hurt it for me. You know, I would be curious to maybe hear something else from them to see if it's a normal thing for them or not. But so for me, because of that, overall the album ended up just basically being okay. It wasn't bad, but at the same time I didn't love it. But it had potential for me to really enjoy it. So I gave it a 2.75.
Gotcha. And for you, sir?
I first heard about them when we were told to listen to them last week, and then completely forgot about them until
an hour ago.
Would you say about an hour ago or something? Yeah.
Hour and a half, yeah.
So yeah. Somewhere around there. Last week when they told us, when they told me that this is what we were going to be listening to this week, I already had my disdain for it because apparently, you know, longer drawn out songs, even though it's a short album, long and drawn out songs, and it's black metal, which it's difficult for me to find black metal that I do enjoy. There are some that I do, but the majority of such I really don't. So I tried my best to go into this with an unbiased opinion, but I wasn't able to completely do so. So I did like a clip, kind of a quick listen through of it because I procrastinate like a son of a bitch. Every bit of what I thought was going to happen kind of happened. It was more or less just really long for no reason and a big ass giant wall of white noise. I think I caught like twice within the album where something different than white noise made its appearance, and I stopped and listened to it a little bit more going, what? Are they attempting an actual melody for once? And then it disappeared. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. Never mind. All right. So if that gives you any sort of an opinion on what I think of black metal or this album, if it doesn't, I really think you need to probably think a little bit more about thoughts and opinion. I don't fucking know. But anyway, my rating on this album is a solid 1. I can't.
Pretty good for you, actually.
Black Metal. I mean, I almost wanted to give it less, but I mean the little snippets that I did catch of something melodic actually sounded pretty decent and took me by surprise. So I bumped my rating up to 1.
Gotcha. By the way, for future reference, include your biases in there. That's the reason we do this the way we do.
Well, so I tried to be unbiased when it comes to black metal in particular, just because I do know that I'm already going to have a disdain for it based off the fact that it's strictly black metal. However, I have come across some black metal that actually makes me really intrigued. Actually, kind of gets me going. I mean,
Yeah,
Black Braid's one.
That. Yeah,
so
you can mention that, but you can be both unbiased and biased at the same time. It's called being it's just objectivity and reality.
Well, I mean, and that's why I like. So I didn't want to completely be like cruel and evil and be like, "Hey, this is a solid 0 because fuck this." No. I know. I mean, I try to give a little bit of an unbiased when it comes to black metal, only black metal, because I know there are some that do surprise me. There are some moments that do actually take me by surprise in some songs that I absolutely cannot stand. However, yeah, I mean, my rating in general is completely biased as a son of a bitch.
Well, yeah, it needs to be.
So, my opinions, I try to keep as unbiased. My rating, on the other hand, I mean, we've heard a couple of ratings this year from me that were just straight. Yeah. So, I damn sure don't go unbiased with my rating.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my thoughts on it.
Alrighty. Well, I first heard of this group actually from one of the groups that I'm in regarding black metal, and Taake was actually very well, you could say the phrase, put on high. So whenever I did come across them within a playlist, I listened to it and I'm like, okay, I can see why people enjoy this, just because it is very minorly, slightly modernized traditional black metal. And I'm like, wow, this is really well done. It's basically like, it's somewhat clearer traditional black metal. Like, it's not to the extent of necessarily the unholy trinity that the black metal community knows of Darkthrone, but it's a little bit more, I think I'm getting my point across. But so whenever I discovered that these guys were coming out with a new album, I'm like, wow, okay, I'm very intrigued. The album came up and I started listening to it and I went, what the hell? Because the last album I had listened to from them, for anyone that knows Taake, I keep on wanting to call them Taake for the longest time because I had no idea how to fucking pronounce it. But the album that I mostly knew of was, I'm going to assume it's Avik. I'm probably butchering the fuck out of that, but it's their album from 2021 where it is more of a raw style. But yet, interestingly enough, that was from 2021. And
interesting. So it was a compilation album.
What, Avik?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck.
I don't know what that means, but that's what it says.
But that was the last thing I listened to from them, it was that one. And one of the first tracks I think I had listened to really from them was from the album Noreg or that's how I'm pronouncing it, is from 2011. And that one was a little bit more similar to how this sounded. However, this album really caught me off guard, not in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way, because I began to notice they are approaching the element of, at least vocally definitely, more of the depressive, suicidal style of black metal, sort of how Advent Sorrow began to go whenever they did their debut album before the Dimming Light. I think this one album was years ago, or it was an EP before the Dimming Light might have been, and then they made their debut and they went from symphonic black metal straight to like depressive, suicidal black metal, which was very vast departure for them, but still it kind of worked actually. But this was somewhat of the route that Taake was started presenting, and yet instrumentally it was almost going to the realm of a combination of black and roll and post black metal, which was very odd to hear, just because the guitars and everything else were clearer as far as they weren't as distorted, and there was actual melodies being played throughout all the tracks. And I'm thinking to myself, so is this the gateway that people that enjoy Death Haven listen to whenever they actually want to listen to real black metal? I mean, I'm kidding. For those of you that don't know, Death Haven is one of the biggest post black metal groups there are, and it's like pop black metal. It's so fucking bizarre. I hate it. But I struggled to wrap my mind around what was going on, because what they were doing was being done extremely well, but it was still a departure from the previous material I had heard. And there were moments whenever it was more just gravelly style vocals, and then there were moments of the shrieks, and then there was the moments of like fantasy spoken word, which that threw me for a loop because I was not remotely expecting that. So each track did have its own unique identity, which again is not commonplace necessarily within black metal unless you go to more of the mainstream artists. So that was intriguing in itself. And long story short, I actually gave this a 3.5, mainly because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, to be completely honest. And if they had gone more of the depressive route with the black metal, I would have probably enjoyed it way more, because I'm not a very big fan of post-black metal, which I felt like instrumentally was going on here because of the melodies that were present. Like, the melodies went more along those lines for me. Mind you, again, this is a damn good group, and so they did it in such a way that it didn't completely offend me. So I don't know. I'm going to go with 3.5 and leave it at that, because I may come back with an update later, or I may completely not come back with an update because that's not necessary. And we're going to leave it at 3.5 because I'm still confused. And I'm confusingly saying this review. So yeah. Would I listen to this again? Yes. Would I buy this album or EP? Honestly, probably not. Unfortunately, because their previous works were pretty fucking phenomenal. And this felt like them going into a different direction. And that's one thing I have noticed with a lot of black metal groups as of recently, is them going in different directions. Like for Belphegor, for example, they're going definitely in a more atmospheric direction, which still is working for them because they're able to still keep things incredibly dark. But yeah. Anyways, before I start to ramble on more, that was our thoughts, perspectives, limitations of the latest EP from Taake. The name that it is, it'll be in the description. Until next time, whether musically, lyrically, or literally, keep rolling happy.